Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Joyful Julie Live. I am Joyful Julie, if you don't already know me. I am excited for tonight that my very first guest is somebody that has been a friend for a long time and is now one of my most trusted business advisors. So we are going to bring him out here in just a second. Want to let you know behind the scenes, we've got Chris Hennessy with Firebird Studios producing for me. So would not be able to do this without his brains behind the scenes. So if you're wanting to get into live streaming and you're not sure how, please reach out to him because he is the rock star helping make this happen. So Chris, if you will bring Mark out. Hey there.
Hey there. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
So good. I didn't know I was the first person. Now I feel special.
You are the first. So yeah, no, I've been talking to Chris for a while about like, hey, I should do some live streaming. He's like, yes, you should. And so then when you mentioned wanting to get on and talk about your book, I'm like, perfect opportunity to have you on and to just bite the bullet and actually make it happen. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
You are the first. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, I don't know if you can tell, like, I'm extremely cherry red. I am coming to you live from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. We are here for spring break vacation. We had actually had this scheduled for 2 weeks ago and had to reschedule, actually a week ago, maybe. I don't know. We had to reschedule. I was going to be in Florida, and I thought, you know what? We can still make it happen. So
that's exciting.
What's up? I'm trying not to move because it's all bouncy, but.
And I'm anyway. Coming to you from my car because I just finished reffing a soccer game. So
that's good.
Yours is much more exciting than mine. Yeah.
We make it work, don't we?
Yeah.
So, and I just want to. So, like, I'm happy to see like people in the comments. Like, hi Holly, hi Val. Of course, Chris is commenting over there too, and Dan. And it should pull in comments like from Facebook too. So everybody should show up there. I was going to have like both like Facebook and LinkedIn live streams going on my other screen so that I could make sure everything was showing up all right. But I was having a little bit of internet challenges, so we're just flying kind of blind. So that's okay.
It'll work.
People will see it. So I've been posting about how I can't wait to introduce you to all my LinkedIn people. So just give a little like about Mark, just to give them an idea of who you are. Hey, Jenna.
Sure.
She's one of my Washington people.
Hey, I know Jenna. Jenna and I used to work together.
Really?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Small world. Yeah, we were like best friends in like 7th and 8th grade.
Really? I did not know that. Had I known that,
a lot of time at Jenna's house.
Got a lot of stories. That would have been fun.
How funny.
No, so so Julie, you and I have known each other for a long time. Actually, Chris showed me some of the pictures you have from our good old 4-H days, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So Julie and I showed horses against each other in 4-H. She always won. I always lost. It's just kind of the way it went. I was never really that into it. Although I will tell you, Julie, I think you've seen some of the pictures. My daughter's really in the horse shows now.
Yes.
And she's really good. She's way better than I am. But yeah, so, we grew up, 20 minutes from each other and hung out at horse shows. And I distinctly remember one time there was like 20 people in our class and we were like way down at the other end. And this class went on, it felt like 2 hours. I don't know how long it was, but Julie and I were at the other end just talking like the entire time. We're like, and we're just going to hang out. So, lived here all my life, grew up on a farm, grew up chasing cows and doing all that fun stuff. Did not want to be a farmer, but I do live back out by my parents and I love living in the country. I'm definitely a farm kid at heart. Just love everything about it. And I currently, so for the last 7 years, I've been working in online marketing, affiliate marketing and coaching, and got into more coaching recently. So in the last couple of years, and now I spend most of my time coaching 6-figure business owners and helping them to build a business that they love, that fits with their lifestyle, that allows them to do the things that they want to do. Because one of the things that I see is a lot of people, when they get to that 6-figure level, they realize that the things they did to get there actually kind of handcuff them. They're trying to do everything themselves. They need to get that CEO mindset. And so what I help business owners with is creating those systems and those processes and really getting clear on what they want. I found a lot of people, it's kind of that, it's there's this creep, and I think we see it in all aspects of our life, where if we're not careful, business and jobs just take over, and all of a sudden we're working 50-hour weeks, 60-hour weeks, and we're working at night, we're working on weekends, and we're like, what the heck, this isn't fun. And so that's my job. That's what I love to do, is to help business owners to take a step back and identify what they really want, and help them to identify what's truly important, so that they can get the most out of their business and get the things that they wanted when they started. So
yeah, that's awesome. I remember that from probably one of our early conversations, talking about like making sure that your business serves you, not you just serving your business, because like you said, it can be completely absorbing and overwhelming at times. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And I look forward to you helping me get to that 6-figure level, because we're not there yet.
We're getting there. We're on our way.
Exactly. So one of the reasons that Mark is here, obviously, is he recently wrote a book and was looking for opportunities to talk about it. And if you've been following me on LinkedIn very much, I talk a lot about time management and productivity, and how it is possible to take control of your day and structure it so that you can run your day instead of your day running you. And Mark's book, Find Your 20, we both have our copies, it fits right into that, about making sure that you're doing your most important work and that it's making a difference. So tell us about your inspiration for writing this and kind of your book writing journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book actually came from a retreat that I was going to teach for my current clients and then potential clients. And it's funny, because this is something that I tell people, because I think a lot of times we want everything to go perfectly in our businesses and our lives. And sometimes it just fails. And that's what happened this time. I'd set the date, and I'm like, okay, we're doing this in November. And it turned out that I picked a really bad weekend, and everybody was busy. Like, everybody I talked to was like, oh, I have this recital, or I have this, and nobody could make it. And so I had one of my current clients that could. She's like, I can be there. And she was like, well, if you want to do it another time, that's totally fine. Like, I get it. It's okay. And I'm like, no, darn it, I'm going to do it. Like, I planned on doing it. I'm doing this. So her and I met for a couple days, and I walked her through this process that I love kids. Kids are awesome.
I didn't even make eye contact. I just snapped my fingers and pointed out.
Hey, I've done enough live streams where it's like, I know that face. It's like, I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking over here, and it's like, get out. My 4-year-old does that to me all the time. It's like, dude, I can't help you right now, and he just thinks I can. So where was I? Yeah. Okay. So I decided I was going to do it. So Suzanne and I met, and I walked her through this process that I created by just her. And it was really, really awesome. And because of that, because I went through it, I got a lot of good feedback from her. We helped her with a lot of stuff in her business. And because of that, I was like, this would be a really good book. Like, this would be great content. And so I decided, I'm like, I'm going to write a book about it. And there's this concept of like a really short book that's more of like a, like, it's not the 300-page book. It's more of a short single topic, really quick read, so that people can actually implement. And that's really what I was going for with this, is actually read it, actually get through it. And so I wrote it, and it's funny. I tell people this, and they just, like, their eyes get wide. But I mean, it's not a big book. I mean, we're not talking 300-page book.
No.
I wrote it in a week and a half. And people are like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's not that long. Like, it sounds more exciting than it is. But I made a commitment to a mastermind, a coaching group that I'm in. And I said, I'm going to have this done by Black Friday so that I can offer it. And it was one of those done is better than perfect. And so I finished the first draft. I put it out. I let people pre-buy it. And then I had to finish it, and so that was back in November, and published it, I think, right around, it was like the last couple of days of December. It went live on Amazon, and so it's just this process that I take my clients through and help them to identify what their 20 is. And so for anybody that is listening is like, what do you mean? You know, because some people are like, what, like 20 tests or 20 things? No, it's the 80-20 principle, or Pareto's principle. And the idea that the majority of your results come from a small portion of your inputs, or the small portion of the things you do. And so the whole process is about, how do you find that 20%? How do you find those things that make the biggest difference, rather than doing things that you just think you need to do? And so we walk through that process with your tasks, and also with the things you offer in your business, so that you can get the most done in the least amount of time, and really have that freedom that I really want to help people about. You know, it's this productivity, time management book, but it's really about creating the lifestyle you want.
Sorry, could you say that again? Sorry.
And my watch wants to know about that. So yeah, so I mean, it's really, that's what the underlying thing is. How can I help business owners to reclaim their time and have the freedom that they want?
Yeah, I love that. And I think I saw you post about it, and it must have been like right at the very beginning. And I was like, hey, Mark's my friend and he wrote a book. I'm going to download that. And I remember I downloaded it. I even like printed it, because I'm one of those people, like, I can't read like on a screen.
Right.
And so I printed it, and like I started reading and highlighting, and then, you know, life kind of got away from us. But it was, I think that's really how you and I mean, like, we'd stayed connected and interacted a little bit on like Facebook and whatnot, but it was really through your book that we really reconnected and had that initial conversation that led to the coaching relationship. I guess that is an appropriate term. So yeah, it was really good. One of the things that I love about it is how you include like worksheets, and specifically like say in there, like, do this before you move on.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I didn't.
Right.
I just wanted to read the whole thing. I wanted to read the whole thing first. But talking about, I mean, you said, and I think you've seen it on your post, like, you know, specific statistics about the number of people who will download it versus the number of people who actually read it versus the number of people who actually do something about it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I've shared this, and I really love the 80-20 principle. And if any of you watching this haven't done this, it's a really fun thing to do. 80-20 applies to like literally everything. I mean, everything. I was thinking about the 80-20 principle when I was writing the book. And so I asked my daughter, I'm like, hey, Brooklyn, how many pairs of shoes do you have? And she's like, oh, I have like 10. I'm like, how many do you wear on a consistent basis? She's like, 1 or 2. And I'm like, boom, 80-20.
Yep.
Ta-da. And then I asked my wife one day, my in-laws own, you'll know this, DK's in Ephrata. My in-laws own that. And so I asked my wife, she's the manager. And I said, hey, how many employees do you have? And she's like, oh, we have like 24. And I'm like, okay. I said, would it be fair to say that like 4 of them cause most of the problems? And she's like, yep, it would be. And I was like, okay, so of those 4, would it be fair to say that one of those causes most of those problems? And she's like, yep, this person, and name the person. And I was like, 80-20 once again. And it's like, it's everything. You know, and it really is true. You know, you look at like the stats of the people that show up on the page to purchase the book, and it's like, it's 20%. I mean, it's right in there. It's like 15 to 25 depending on the week or whatever, but it's just so funny. And, you know, so that's one of the things that I tell people. It's like, look, 20% of the people that look at the book actually buy it. Of the people that buy it, 20% actually read it. Of those 20% actually do something with it. And that's really the key. And it's interesting because I coach so many people and so many business owners that are so afraid to give away too much information. They're like, this is my information. I don't want to give it away. People are going to use it. And it's like, no, they're not. Like, if we could all just read a book and be able to do whatever we want, we'd all go to Barnes and Noble and we'd buy a book, and then we'd be done and we'd be millionaires or whatever it is that we want. But it's not the case. Nobody applies. Like 20% of the people will actually implement something. And so you can give away a lot more than you think you can, because information isn't valuable. It's the application that really makes a difference.
You know, that's really interesting that you say it like that, because I've even struggled with that with growing my business and what I do, and trying to balance, like, all right, how much do I share without like giving it all away? But like what you just said, like, the information itself isn't really valuable. It's actually implementing it. And a lot of people aren't just going to listen to something or read something once and then poof, make it happen. So it's an interesting mindset shift for I mean, I think for anybody, but especially business owners.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
love that.
What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. It was really good though.
I'm sure
It'll
it
come
was.
back sooner or later. It'll come back.
It's like the other day we were talking and I was like, man, I saw or read something somewhere, but I don't remember. I was like, oh, it was probably in your book. It was definitely in
Absolutely.
your book.
I'm sure it was. Anything good that we talk about, it was in the book, I'm sure. I remember now. I remember it was. Dan Kennedy, who's a famous direct response marketer. He has the greatest mustache in online marketing history. Did I show you? Was it with you the other day that I showed this picture?
Yeah, you showed it to me.
Yeah, he has this fantastic mustache. He always says, and I think I actually shared this part with you, but he always said, if what you give somebody for free, and he's talking about online marketing, so like opt-ins and those types of things. He said, if what you give somebody for free is crap, why would they assume there's anything good behind it? And I think that's really the case. Like, I think some people get so worried about being protective of what they do that really the indication they give to people is that I don't have anything valuable to give you. And, you know, if you look at the most valuable companies and people, they're probably really, really, I guess, free and giving with their information and what they do. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I love that. Yeah, if what you're giving away is crap, then why would they come back for more? Yeah, if Costco gave out samples of like their worst food, why would you buy it?
Exactly. I love Costco samples. I'm so glad they're back. That's like the worst thing about the pandemic. No Costco samples.
Yes, I didn't go to Costco like the whole pandemic because Costco, like where I live, is not convenient. Like, I mean, and I'm in Tulsa a lot, but like the part of Tulsa where it is like not convenient at all. And so I just renewed my membership like it was right after the fire.
Welcome back to America.
Stuff, right? So yeah, no, I'm very excited to have Costco around.
Sweet.
So, hey Travis, talk about a live stream legend. So, but yeah, no, I think I've told you this a bunch of times before when we talk. It's like some things that you say, like they're so simple, but they're still at the same time like mind blowing. And really, I mean, like you said, your book is super short. It's super easy to read, and like it's simple, but at the same time, it's not easy because you actually have to do the work.
Right.
But if you choose to, like, I can totally see how it's going to make a huge difference, or could make a huge difference if you're willing to put it in.
Well, it's cool because throughout the book, you know, I share actually the experiences of Suzanne. And when her and I worked through this, which was really fun to like tell her story and be able to brag on her, because I love bragging on my clients. I think it's one of the most fun things to do is just be like, look how awesome this person is. And it was interesting going through it with her. There were so many things that I thought I knew what the response was going to be, and it was wrong. And I actually talk about that in the book, I think, where it's like one of the activities that I have you do in the book is, okay, list all the tasks that you do every day. And my idea with the retreat, and when I went through with Suzanne, was like, oh, she's going to list all these tasks and she's going to feel completely overwhelmed. And then we'll be able to shrink that to-do list and she'll feel better about herself and be like, awesome, I made progress. So I had to write out this list. We're like live on Zoom and I'm like, okay, write out this list. And she writes it out and I'm like, how do you feel? And I'm waiting for, this is so hard. There's so many things. And she's like, I actually feel better. And I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. And so as every good coach in the world, when I didn't know what to say, I asked a question, because that's what coaches do. Just FYI, some of you don't know that, that's what we do. If we have no idea what to say, we ask a question, which then gives us time to think and figure out what we're going to say. And so I realized that things are only like a monster is only a monster until you name it. Once you name a monster, it's no longer a monster. Like kids are only scared of monsters because they think they're in the closet. Once you open the closet and turn on the light, it's like, oh, there's nothing there. Or in the case of Major Payne, if anybody's watched that, you shoot the heck out of the closet. Then we're good. But you know, so it's that idea, once you identify what you're doing, because most of us don't. And we think we have so much to do. We think we're doing so many things, but once you actually name all of those things, there's this like almost relief. And now we can address it. Now we can see what we're doing. But most people just go like from task to task to task, and they never stop and think, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Jenna, I love Jenna's comment in the chat there about, you know, HR. Yeah, I remember, Jenna, working with you, it was 10% of the employees, 90% of the problems. And that's 80-20. That's still 80-20. It's just more, you know, and 80-20, you know, that's the general rule, but sometimes it's 90-10. Sometimes it's 75-25. But the general case is exactly that. The problem employees are always, it's always a small portion that take all of your time, and you're like, I don't like you.
It's like, you know, like we both grew up on farms. I grew up with cows, and we joked about, and even now, like in our cow herd now, like when you try and catch them or do anything with them, there's always one who's going to be a brat and cause issues or refuse to get caught or whatever. Like, no matter what, there's always one. So absolutely. I love what you were just talking about writing down your task and like naming them. And that really, like, one of the things I loved about your book is how closely it aligned with like the productivity and time management training that I do. And it's kind of the same type of thing. Like the way to get a hold of your day and manage it is to actually document it with like time tracking, and then you can actually see like where you're spending your time and then make adjustments from there. Because like you said, until you name it, you really can't take control of it. Not necessarily fix it, but address it.
Right. That's a scary thing too. It's very scary to do that because the fifth time you have to write checked Facebook, you're like,
well, it's a reality check. It is, and that's one of the things. Like people, like one of my resources that I train out of, it's like people grossly overestimate the amount of time they spend on work and underestimate the amount of time they spend on family. I mean, because everybody says, oh, I wish I had more time with my family. And when you do that exercise of like documenting where you spend your time, it's like, oh, maybe I do have time to do that.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of those things that when I'm trying to be better, which admittedly isn't always, sometimes I'm just coasting like everybody. But I'm trying to be better. I'm really hesitant to say, I catch myself saying I don't have time, and I'm like, wait, that's not true. I'm choosing that that's not important. And that's a hard thing to admit.
It is.
And it's a normal thing, you know, in our society to be like, I don't have time. I'm so busy. It's like, no, you're choosing, because we all do things that we could not do if we really wanted to. So what it comes down to is we haven't made that a priority. And, you know, the key with the book is, you know, we're focusing specifically on your business. It's like, make the priority the things that generate revenue. And if that's the priority, then you can make that decision rather than just, you know, willy-nilly making a decision on the day. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
This like self-improvement stuff is really hard, FYI.
Go, please. Hey, yo. Hey, I asked you to leave, please. Go. Go. Shut the door.
It's shut.
Yeah, photo bomb, video bomb. Yeah, and he's laughing all the way back downstairs.
There was a guy I was at a conference, and he was speaking at a conference, and he made the comment. He said, I don't think people even believe that something's live unless a dog barks in the background or a kid runs through. Like, we just expect it now. It's like, is it really live? Like, nobody bothers you, and that's weird, you know. So
unless it's the middle of the day and both parties are somewhere alone and the children are at school, that interruption is inevitable. I think it's really like humanized us more and probably made us more tolerant of like the fact that we're a whole person. Like, we work and we're parents and we have lives, like, because it's all kind of meshed together now. Which with it all being meshed together, I think like your book and like the topics and the whole idea of it is even more important, because I mean, for those who are working for themselves, they probably you don't have that, you know, go to work and then come home, and you don't have like that separation. But with everybody, or a lot of people working at home, it's all lumped together. And so I can see it even being more important nowadays to implement like what you talk about in the book, because otherwise you look up and it's 5 p.m. and you're like, what did I get done today?
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And I really enjoy the fact that I've worked from home for 6 years or whatever now.
Mhm.
Like when everybody else started working from home a couple years ago, I'm like, welcome. Like,
Yep.
now you know what it's like, you know? And it's hard. Like, it's one of the hardest things for me to this day, because it's like, oh, I'll just do this real quick. And I jump on my computer and all of a sudden it's been 30 minutes and my wife's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you still working? Oh, I just got to send this email real quick. I just got to do this real quick. And it's really, really hard to separate those two.
Mhm.
But, my goal with the book is if you can get more done in less time,
Mhm.
then you have that time for your family.
Yeah.
In theory, using the 80-20 principle, in theory, you could work 1 day a week and still get 80% of the results that you get now.
Mhm.
That would be pretty awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I think I would probably take a 20% pay cut if it meant that I only had to work on Mondays or Wednesdays or something. It's like,
Right.
that would be pretty awesome. And it doesn't always work out that way because of schedules and those types of things, but
Mhm.
that's the idea. Like, there's a lot of stuff we do that we don't have to do, as we go through the looking at the tasks and kind of quantifying where your tasks line out, like the things you can delegate. It's so hard for people because they're like, well, I have to do that.
Mhm.
Do you have to do it, or do you think you have
Mhm.
to do it? And more
Yeah.
often than not, there's very, very few things that we actually have to do.
Mhm.
I was doing an interview about the book a couple weeks ago with a friend of mine from England who has a podcast, and he said that one of the things he does, and I love this, he's like, there's things in my business that I'll just stop doing for a week and just see if I miss them, like see if anything affects my business. And he goes,
Yeah.
if it doesn't, I don't ever do it again. And so he kind of does it the opposite way, where he just like takes things out and sees if anything breaks. And I'm like, I really like that.
Yeah.
Like, let's see if I can, and there's certain things that it's going to break. Like, you can't just decide to stop paying your bills and things keep working. Like, that's something you're still gonna have to do.
You're gonna have to keep doing that.
But especially I think in this day and age with influencers and gurus, and all these people that are pushing what they say is the most important thing, we have to be even more clear what's important for us, and we have to be more clear about what generates revenue and results for us. Because yes, the guy that's teaching social media marketing is going to tell you that the most important thing that you can do is be on social media all the time, and the guy that teaches live events is going to say you have to do a live event. It's not always true, and you have to be able to make that decision for yourself based on what generates the most revenue in the least amount of time. Sometimes that's social media. Sometimes, it just depends on your personality, and it depends on your business. And so I think it's even more valuable, more important now, because so many people are telling you, and they're very, very good at telling you and convincing you that their thing is the most important thing, and you cannot succeed in business without it. It's probably not true. Sorry. Except for this book. You cannot succeed.
Except for you, and except for this book.
You must have that now.
You must have it. It is very important. It is life-changing, business-changing. Speaking of, like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but influencers, Barth, yes, exactly. But Mark said he would be willing to give away a copy or two of his book. So I'm not sure how we're going to do that.
We should get like suggestions for different like contests in the chat. First person to, I don't know.
Maybe we can come up with a contest later. So Andrew Bennett, I saw him in the comments earlier. He's done like a snack selfie challenge, which we're totally going off the rails on our topic here. But speaking of contests, so
snack selfie challenge.
Yeah. So if you go, if you look at my activity page, or just go connect with Andrew because he's cool.
I need to write this down.
He had this like snack selfie challenge, and so Chris and I both participated in the latest challenge. He won with his Pringles chips duck lips, but I had
that's classic.
I had beef jerky fangs for my submission. So yeah, we won't do a snack selfie challenge, but we could do something. The first person from Dallas, Texas gets a book.
First person to come up with a challenge wins. All right.
Yeah.
I see you, Chris. Okay, so I see that.
Are you writing on your Remarkable?
I am.
Ta-da. You should tell people about your Remarkable real quick, because like its name, it is freaking remarkable. And if you haven't heard of this
It
device,
is, yeah.
you should
If
look
anybody
at it.
wants it, I have a link that will save you $40. I used to do affiliate marketing. You know I'm gonna have
Well,
affiliate
yeah.
links. So a Remarkable, if you haven't heard of them, they're this cool little tablet. They're super thin, and it feels like writing on paper. And to give you an idea, when I first got it, my daughter looked at me. She's 13, so she has attitude, and everything dad says is stupid. That's what 13-year-old girls do, I guess. And so she looked at me. She's like, "Why didn't you just get an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil?" Well, this one is like writing on paper. Like literally, I can put my hand on it, and it doesn't like move anything. And
which is important because you're a lefty.
Yeah, right. And you can like sift notebooks and stuff and download PDFs, highlight, and then send back. As a matter of fact, Julie did this with you. We were working on something wise.
Yes.
And Julie sent me a document and was like, "Hey, can you give me feedback?" And I literally took my Remarkable, screen shared to my computer, recorded it with Zoom, and was like writing on it. And so it was like I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, but Julie, I feel like it was like you and I were sitting next to each other and we were talking through this document.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that was, but it felt that way. By the way, we're in the middle of this conversation and I'm getting texts from Ray Towery saying, "How do you know Julie?" So I'll have to text Ray back later.
How funny.
Julie's famous.
You must be watching on Facebook.
People texting me, "What the heck? How do you know people?" So yeah, Remarkable is really remarkable. It's awesome. It's replaced my planner. It's replaced, because I was one of those people that always had like notebooks that had 3 pages filled out, and then I didn't do anything else with them, because it's like, oh, I need a new notebook because this is a new project or a new topic.
Right.
And so I'd always like not even half filled notebooks, like 3 pages filled. And it's like I either have to rip out the pages or like rewrite the name of what it is on the front. And so now I just do all that in one. And so like all my coaching notes, my planner, like I use it for everything, like my study journal for church and scriptures and all. It's like it's all in one place. And so rather than carrying like 3 notebooks to church now, I just carry this, and it's awesome. Like I don't have a planner, I don't have anything. I have a planner template that I use, and it's fantastic. I love it.
You're speaking my language. I literally have like my everyday notebook that I carry around, my like journaling notebook, my notebook that I use for like church stuff, the other notebook that I use for like random notes. And of course it's all fragmented and it's all over the place. Like having everything in one spot was like,
it's fantastic.
I feel like that fits in here because it puts it all in one spot, right? It makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. No, it's fantastic. I really enjoy it. Seavercrop.com/remarkable. I'm pretty sure. Gets you $40 off if you want it. But
say that again,
seavercrop.com/remarkable. I'm pretty sure. I'll find if it is or not.
Let's see.
Click it here and see.
Chris can pop that up. Because who doesn't
love
that's
not it. Might be findyour20.com/remarkable. Hold on. I can never remember which website I use. That's not why we're here. That you can also just search Remarkable. Remarkable. Oh yeah, it's findyour20.com/remarkable.
Okay.
That's what it does. But yeah, they're fantastic. I like them.
Oops.
Like everything, they nail you on the all of the accessories. That's where they get you. But honestly, they're not cheap, but I would not go back. I'm completely 100% sold. So
that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, think of like the efficiency that you've gained just by putting it all in one place.
It's true. It's very true.
And you'll stop buying random notebooks, so you're saving money there.
Right. Exactly. Well, I mean, I paid $160 a year for my planner that I bought. So I mean, even that now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah.
So I don't know. Jason is throwing in.
First 2 people to buy Remarkable. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Free book.
Yeah. First person to guess the make of my car my man is in gets a book. Oh, like whatever Mark is driving? Is that what you're saying, Jason?
Hey, that's a good idea. We could do that.
Yeah.
Closest guess.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to buy your book, how do they do it? Because everybody who's on here should be buying your book.
That is a great question. I'm happy to answer it. You can get it on Amazon. You'll pay $14.95. It's also on Audible, by the way. Or you can get it on my website, findyour20.com. And I think there's a picture on the sidebar where you can go and you can get it for $9.95. And it's also in a really cool package. Like, I put everything in the package for you, right, Julie? Yeah.
You did. It was really cool packaging.
I'm not going to give it away, but I will tell you that one of my friends who's a marketer texted me after she got a copy, and she said, what was it? She said, this is like magic sparkle dust for my marketer's soul.
It is. No, because I have marketing background too. And when I opened it, I was like, ooh, there's more? Like, what? Like, yeah, no, totally. So it's like a little surprise in a package.
So the entire goal of the package is to get you to actually read the book. Right. And I took some things from one of my clients is like her whole business is about how to experienceify your products and get people to actually go through them. And it's all about gamification and all of these types of things. And so I took a lot of what she teaches and applied it as well. And so there's a lot of really fun stuff that you don't get if you get it from Amazon. And you also have to pay more if you go to Amazon. It is not a Toyota, by the way, my car. So yeah, so findyour20.com, you can get it there for $9.95, and I'll mail a physical copy to you. Also, I'm happy to, if somebody prefers audiobooks, you can go to findyour20.com/audio and get the audiobook for free, read by yours truly. Or you can go to Audible and spend one of your credits if you really want to, but you can get it for free.
And by ordering to you directly, we get this too, right?
Oh yeah, you get an autograph. Everybody's gonna be all over that.
Of course.
Jenna's gonna be the first one. Jenna wants my autograph. I know she does. She's like, that kid, he worked for me. What are you talking about?
This is random, but I don't remember if it was like the very beginning. It must have been the beginning of 21. You were sharing about like your favorite books. Maybe it was the beginning of 2020.
Yes.
It must have been the beginning of 2020.
Did I send you one?
You sent me a book.
That's
you
right.
did.
That's right.
And I'm so upset because you wrote the nicest note inside too, and I don't have it anymore. I'm hoping I took a picture of it.
Which book did I send you? I can't remember.
It was one on habits.
High Performance Habits. Brendon Burchard.
Yeah, that one.
That was a good book.
Yep.
I should do that again. I haven't done that for a while.
You should do that again. After,
would it be manipulative to be like, the first 2 people that comment on this, I'll send them a book that's really changed my life, and then send them a copy of mine. Here.
It has, though.
I would do that. That's true.
Totally
it has.
has.
I really enjoy it. Yeah. But that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And that was very touching. I was like, oh, this is cool. So when we were getting scheduled to come on a live, my mom was going through some of her old pictures, and I thought, Mom,
oh boy,
go through our old 4-H days pictures and find me a picture of Mark. So if you haven't been on here the entire time, Mark and I go way back, way back to our childhood. And so I don't know that I need to prove that or validate it, but just for funsies,
I think you can share them.
I've got a couple pictures. So
that one's awesome.
This
Me
one,
and Jason.
There's Mark on the right and our friend Jason on the left.
Yeah.
And
look at those
my
white
dad's
arms.
old Ford
That's
pickup.
why I never wear tank tops.
Yep.
Who are all these
and
people?
Then
hold on now.
We know.
I don't remember like half these people.
So there's you on the left in the white. I am. So I'm behind Sarah Stetner. Yep, right there, where the pointer is.
Okay.
Yep,
right.
That's me.
So that's not me in the white. That's my brother. I'm behind
him.
Oh,
that's really?
That's Kevin. Yeah.
Oh.
That's me.
That's you up there. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I stand corrected. But that's.
See, it proves we were even friends. We were like sitting next to each other.
That's right. We were like in the fun together.
That's right. Good days. And
No, that's
Jason
Jill
and
Perkle in the
Nathan.
purple tank top.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then in the plaid shirt, maybe Jamie Yamani. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So what's really funny,
Crazy.
and you can take that down now. When my mom was going through pictures, she sent me a picture of one of our 4-H friends with her horse, and she's like, "Do you know who this girl is?" And I was like, "Yes." Don't remember her name, but I remember the horse's name.
That does not surprise me.
This is bad. This is bad.
Good old 4-H.
Well,
That was
yeah.
good times.
They were good times. Good times.
Honestly, I do miss it. So I go with my daughter to her horse shows, and she's like, she goes to like serious horse shows. Like these are Morgan shows, which is like, here's 4-H, like intensity wise, and like here's
way
Morgan.
up there.
It's like
Yeah,
really expensive outfits and really expensive.
You were in Oklahoma
horses.
City not too long ago.
We were. I told you to come hang out with me, and you didn't. That's okay though.
It didn't work out.
That's
it was kind of short notice.
But it's kind of fun because my daughter doesn't. Because I don't really ride a horse at all. So my daughter thinks I don't know how. And so every once in a while, I'm like, get off. And I get on her horse, and I'm like, see, you know how to do it. Like doing flying lead changes and stuff. And granted, I mean, she has really good horses. So she's riding. Actually, she just got a new horse, but she's riding my sister's horse that my sister rode in 4-H. Bella, which is kind of fun. And it's really fun because Bella's old now, and she's like the old horse. And she's really good until she decides she knows what she's doing, and then she just doesn't listen. And you have to like force her to listen. But she just got a new horse, and she really likes showing, except for when it what's the word I'm looking for? Not interrupts. I don't know. When it gets in the way of soccer, that's when my daughter doesn't like it. So soccer will always win, but before my mom passed away, she bought my daughter a horse like the month before she passed away. My mom never saw the horse, but so that's kind of neat that she's got this horse now. And it's funny because my mom and my dad, this is like totally off topic, but I don't know how we got here, but my mom and my dad, like my mom just did her horse stuff with Diane, and that was just like, my dad was like, I don't want to know how much money I'm spending. It's fine. And so I kid you not, we were in the hospital the day before my mom passed away. Like we're all saying bye to her. She had cancer, and so she passed away from cancer. And we're talking about some different stuff, and it comes up somehow about Brooklyn and riding or something. And I look at my wife and I look at my dad, and I'm like, Dad, do you know about this new horse that Mom just bought? And he goes, yeah, I know that. I'm like, okay, good. I'm like, because I didn't want to be the one to break it to you as Mom's laying here like about to pass away that, hey, Mom just spent a whole bunch of money on a horse. So yeah, it was kind of a funny thing, but so yeah, but it's kind of fun. That was Brooklyn and my mom's thing. That was her and Grandma's thing. So that was fun.
That's cool.
And I get to clean stalls and do all that fun stuff because it's not 4-H. So I can't just tell Brooklyn, oh, sorry, you have to do it. Like, everybody chips in. So it's like I'm cleaning stalls and getting the horse ready and doing all those fun things, which is fun. I enjoy it. But yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So we're about at our time. I want to be respectful of everything since we are whole people. I know you've got to go get kids, and I hear a heck of a ruckus going on downstairs. I don't know what is happening, but hopefully they're a happy noise.
Everybody's alive.
Yes. But thank you so much for coming on, being my very first guest of the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for
I hope lots of people go download Find Your 20.
Please do.
What I'll probably do, I'll go through the chat and find who commented, and I may throw them on like Wheel of Names or something, and
there you go.
Pick a couple random people and then reach out to them to get their info, and we'll get them a book sent. So
I was gonna say either that or just like tell everybody they have to send you a message of why they should get the book.
Oh, I like that too. I like that too. They can send me a message. Yeah. So if you'd like a copy of Mark's book, DM me
with a good reason,
or email me if you got it or whatever. Smoke signals, text message, whatever, and we will evaluate and get you a book sent.
Absolutely.
So
you'll get the magic sprinkle dust.
Yes, you need the magic sprinkle dust. Like if that's not motivation to order directly from you, I don't know what is.
It's true. So, well, thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's always fun to talk about the book and hang out with you.
Yeah, very good. Well, be safe going back. And for everyone else, we'll do this again another night. I don't know when that's going to be, but it'll be probably Tuesdays at 7 Central. Once I have my next guest lined up, then we will get it scheduled and let y'all know. So y'all have a great evening, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, Mark.
You're very welcome. Thank you.